Hey, what's up? Back with a movie review for you. And thankfully, this one actually came out in Japan around the same time as it came out in the States. How about that? So, this is going to be my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, for this review, as you probably see in the title, no spoilers. There are no spoilers in here. So, if you haven't watched the movie yet and you don't want the movie spoiled for you and just want a general recommendation, you are safe here with me. I will not ruin this movie for you. So, let's get on with this. I'm going to tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, and my recommendation of whether you should watch it now or when it comes out on Blu-ray. So, here we go. First off, what I liked. First of all, the characters are great. The main five are still a lot of fun, and they're great, and they're hilarious, except for one, and I'll get to that character later. But my favorite one has to be Drax. And not just because he's played by Batista from the WWE, even though he's not really doing much of the WWE anymore. But I like Drax. He was probably my third favorite character in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but he's number one right now. He was just so funny. And his interactions with Quill and Rocket were just hilarious. He has this dry sense of humor that just works for me because it's almost like he doesn't know he's being funny. He's just being sincere, and it's just so funny to me, at least. I get a kick out of Drax, and I really hope they do more with him later on. But yeah, there's a scene in the trailers where he laughs at Quill. That scene's really funny, but it's expanded just a little bit to make the joke even funnier with one of the new characters that they introduced. And some of the new characters are pretty cool too. There's this one that you see in the trailer. She has the antennas. I'm not going to give her name. They'll say in the movie. And she's kind of a little bit like Drax was in the first movie, in a sense that she doesn't know like sarcasm and joking and things like that. And her interactions with the crew are really interesting, and they're kind of cool. And I was glad to see they have a new character that was kind of interesting. Also, as you saw in the trailer, they brought Kurt Russell in this movie, and I'm not going to say who he plays. And not to mention, there are some cameos in this that I was kind of like, I was expecting that. And there's one that literally my jaw dropped a little bit because Marvel was kind of toying with us. It's like they're listening to some of the fans and what they've been saying about these movies. I'm not going to say what the cameo is or what they were listening to the fans and what we were saying. I'll probably save that for the spoilers review that I might do maybe in a couple weeks. But yeah, that was a fun little cameo as well. That was my favorite cameo in the movie. But there are a couple of times like, hey, I remember that. Hey, I know that one. And I was like, oh man, they got that person? It was pretty cool. But the other returning characters, like you saw him in the poster and trailer, Yondu, pretty cool, interesting character, and his interactions with the crew are kind of cool. And Kurt Russell, like I mentioned before briefly, he has some funny interactions with Quill and Drax. And it's just, I enjoyed those things. Also, the action sequences are pretty cool. The thing that I sometimes don't like about Marvel is when their action sequence, there's a lot of quick cuts, and it almost comes across as kind of shaky camera. But this one, they didn't do that, and I'm glad. They kind of let the action flow, and I appreciated that. It was really, really good to see that type of let's just show the people the action. And that's all I wanted. And as far as the story, the plot, I'm not going to get too deep in it. It's a story we've seen before, and they do a pretty good job with it. And I think if you have seen these types of movies before, you kind of know where it's going to go. And that's kind of a knock on the movie, and that leads me to the negatives. And I mentioned before that, yes, the story is kind of good, but you've seen it before. But hey, they do it right. They do it well. So, kind of a knock, but kind of a positive. The negative is, I mentioned before, I didn't like one of the characters, and some people are probably going to hate when I say this. I did not like Baby Groot. Yes, I can hear you yelling at what? Baby Groot is so adorable. He's so fun and so interesting. He's so cute. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I didn't find him that way. I didn't like Baby Groot for the most part. There's one thing they did with Groot that I thought was pretty funny. I'm not going to say what it is. I'll save it for the spoiler review. But for the most part, it just seemed like he was taking attention from the movie when he shouldn't have. And there's a joke in the movie that I think goes a little bit too long with Groot. And it could have just been cut by maybe 25%. And it would have been fine. And the joke would have been just as funny without it. Yeah, I didn't like Groot. Some people may like him. To me, he's kind of like, I hate to say it, but he's kind of like the annoying side character. Kind of like the Ewoks or even Jar Jar Binks a little bit. But a little bit like Jar Jar because he's one of the main characters. And to me, he's not that interesting. Thankfully, they don't do too much with him, like Jar Jar Binks in the first prequel movies, but I did not like Groot. Also, I mentioned the story is good, but there are times that they try to throw too much at you and try to throw too many emotions, like try to make you feel for this character and that character and this one and that one and that one. And by the end of it, you're spread so thin that you really don't care as much about certain characters that you should. And when something big happens that's supposed to make you feel like, oh, just that real guttural, oh, that's terrible, it's like really make you feel it. To me, at least, I didn't feel it as much because they try to throw too many emotions and make you feel this and that and this and that for these characters and that character. It didn't work for me. But all in all, do I recommend watching this movie? And is it as good as the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, or even better? I do recommend watching in the theater. It's fun. There were some points that you could tell they were made for 3D. And if you like 3D, I think you'll probably like those scenes. But I kind of want to see it in 3D to see some of the action sequences. But that would probably be cool. But even in 2D, it's fun. It's interesting. And do I think it's better than the first movie? That's kind of a tough question. You know, it just depends on what you want from these movies. And to me, it's as good as the first movie, and maybe a little bit better. Maybe. I haven't watched the first Guardians in a while, so I probably should watch them both back to back just to really know which one I like better. So, all in all, definitely recommend watching this movie in the theater. You know, it's a movie you watch with friends. Let's put it that way. I don't know. You might watch it with as a family, but I think this movie is even better if you watch it with friends, especially those who are into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because you're probably going to be laughing together. You're going to be talking about it afterwards. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you do it with younger audience, yes, I believe it's PG-13, and there are some scenes that you might not be one for younger audiences to see. But all in all, I liked it. Definitely better. Definitely in the upper level, I guess, of Marvel movies. I put them on different levels. And you have like Captain America Civil War towards the top, and you have like Ant-Man towards the bottom. I didn't like Ant-Man. But all in all, probably 7 out of 10. 7.5. It's a solid C. But all in all, that's what I think. What did you think? Sorry about that. What did you think of the movie? Have you watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 yet? Are you going to watch it? And if you have, who's your favorite character of the main 5, and who's your favorite new character they introduced or expanded upon in this movie. So hopefully this weekend I'll have another movie review up, and the spoiler review of this will probably be maybe in a couple of weeks if I feel like I want to do one. So until then, take care.